You're still watching Prime Morning, and this segment is proudly brought to you by Franco. Still phone prepare for you. Whatever gadget you're looking for, whether mobile phones, television set, CCTV cameras, and even many more. Don't worry at all, because Franco Trading Enterprise has got you covered. They are very, very authentic, and so there's no fake zoning here. It's original and authentic. Authentic, original. You know, two together as one. Download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or visit the website www.francotradingenterprise.com for more enquiries. It's time for us to hear what is happening with regards to the newspapers, and then we delve into our conversation. But trust me, most of the newspapers are reporting the same thing that we're going to be talking about. What am I talking about? The sudden uprising in Parliament. Of course, as a country that is going to the polls very soon, less than 50 days to get to the polls. I think we have about 47 days to the polls. We do not want to hear things like there's a shift in Parliament, things like we have the Supreme Court giving an order and all. Now, on Thursday, the Supreme Court, on Thursday, Parliament did say that the MPs who have decided to run on other tickets should vacate their seats, making the NPP minority in Parliament. The NDC did jubilate because they felt that this was a time for them to take over. They said so many things that they were going to do. The NPP went to court. They went to Supreme Court, not the High Court, but rather to the Supreme Court, where there was an emergency hearing. Some people said that the LGBTQ is still in court. There are so many cases in court which hasn't been heard yet, but this one was heard under 24 hours. Now, what did Supreme Court say? They said there's a stay in what the Parliament said, meaning that the people who are competing on other tickets as members of Parliament should remain as members of Parliament. They should not vacate their seats. It should not be called as vacant as the Speaker of Parliament has declared it, but rather they should stay. Hence, the NPP is still majority in Parliament. Yesterday, the NDC granted a presser, and they said that that seat is theirs. They are majority in Parliament, and they will guard it jealously. They will make sure that once inaugurated as majority on Tuesday, they will abolish the betting tax and abolish the e-levy. Want to hear your voices this morning? We'll play a little bit of video after I read the newspaper. So let me quickly read what the newspapers have, and then we take it from there. I'll start with the Republic Press newspaper, the Republic Press. Baumia mocks NDC over 24-hour majority status. NDC vows to defend majority seat despite Supreme Court ruling. Salifo Amwako defends son, says he didn't carry gun to kill. Voma War was not beaten. Police set records straight. I'm the one Ghana needs. This is coming from Alan Kojo-Chermating. Now, Alan actually shook Kumasi over the weekend because of the things that are happening, this week. We haven't heard too much of what happened. But trust me, if you see footage of the walk that happened in Kumasi, you know that he's not better like you think. He's a dark force, trust me. Because what I saw, I was shocked, though. We'll come after you, Ayariga tells resigned government appointees. And that's all for the Republic Press newspaper. That's it for the Republic Press newspaper. The next paper is the Ghanaian Publisher. The Ghanaian Publisher. SC overturns the Gbagbain's ruling at a force and insists he won't obey court orders. Dasibre Ekwamwa Ejapong II refutes distillment claims. Ekufuado launches a National Service Authority initiative saves Ghana 3 billion Ghana cedis annually. The Daily Dispatch newspaper is the next newspaper. Supreme Court orders Parliament to put a hold on Speaker's ruling ousting 4 MPs. All the 7 seats that have been declared vacant in Ghana's 8th Parliament will be found in this newspaper if purchased. Can MPP maintain its grip on the Ayawaso West Wogon seat? Well, that's quite dicey, and I think one of these days we'll try and bring Winston Yamwa to come and, do a bit of analysis there for us, because that particular seat is dicey. I think there was a pastor who even prophesied that John Dumelo was very close in 2020, but this year, if he doesn't take care, the gap will be huge. Meaning, John cannot win or what? I don't know. So I wish Winston will come and do an analysis for us. Winston, we are calling on you. Come and do analysis for us at that place. The New Publisher newspaper, the New Publisher. My son did not kill anyone with a gun. Stop the noise. Bishop Salifo Amuaku says so. MPP still majority as court stops Bagbin from sacking 4 MPs. Akufo-Addo establishes National Service Authority. Initiative saves Ghana 3 billion Ghana cedis annually. Okay, and that will be it. So is the initiative to save Ghana or it has already saved Ghana? Because I don't understand. Let me read a little bit about it. I think it will help me. So President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has officially launched the National Service Authority, established under the National Service Authority Act 2024, Act 1119. The significant initiative aims to transform the National Service Scheme into a fully fledged authority, playing a crucial role in Ghana's development by focusing on youth empowerment and national cohesion. In his speech, President Akufo-Addo emphasized the importance of fostering responsible citizens. So it is now going to save us. It hasn't saved us. Newspapers, your reportage there. It's as if it has saved us, because if you say saves, it hasn't even happened. So it will save us 3 billion Ghana cedis annually. Anyway. Well, like I said to you earlier, there's a lot happening, but the most trending issue is to do with the parliament issues, where the NPP has gone to court. Why did they go to court? They went to court because the Speaker of Parliament declared 4 seats as vacant because these MPs decided to run on different tickets other than the ticket that brought them to Parliament. He declared those seats vacant, and he even cited what Honorable Michael Quaid did when he was the Speaker of Parliament. Now, the NPP went to court, and the Supreme Court has ruled that these 4 MPs should remain at post until elections. Now, the NDC is saying that they will not leave as majority. They will be inaugurated in Parliament on Tuesday as majority. I want you to take a look at what the NDC said during the press address.
Been delivered a ruling, or what some have said was a declaration, that effectively made the NDC group in Parliament the majority caucus in the House. But 24 hours after that, the Supreme Court ruled to stay the execution of that ruling by the Speaker of Parliament. The NDC MPs, however, say that the Speaker of Parliament did no wrong and they will resist any plan to push them back into the minority.
For the avoidance of doubt, the Speaker's decisions to declare the 4-seat vacant is lawful exercise of his responsibilities derived from the 1992 Constitution and the Standing Orders of Parliament. The effect of the Speaker's declaration is that currently we no longer have an independent member of Parliament. The MPP has 135 members of Parliament only. The NDC has 136 members of Parliament, and there is no second Deputy Speaker of Parliament. We will jealously protect our new majority status and will not bow, retreat, nor surrender our lawfully earned status.
Dr. Cassia Latufosin, who is the NDC leader in Parliament, has been announcing the plans that the NDC group have if they stay in the majority, including to repeal the e-levy and the betting tax.
It is indeed true that we will use our new majority numbers to benefit Ghanaians by introducing private members' bill to remove the e-levy and to reduce the suffering of the people of Ghana. Yes. It is also true that we will use our new majority to remove the betting tax and other nuisance taxes. Yes. We stand with him, pledge our support, and urge him to protect the dignity and sanctity of the Parliament of Ghana. In the same vein, we call on Ghanaians to stand by the Speaker and resist oppressors' rule. From day one, we have not reneged on our fight for the people of Ghana.
When asked specifically about this Supreme Court ruling, Mahama Yarga, the NDC MP for Boku Central, says, until and unless the Speaker of Parliament comes to the floor and informs them that that is the new course of action, they will still consider themselves as the majority.
We are not aware of any law or any constitutional provision that enables anybody to suspend a decision of the Speaker in Parliament properly constituted. Be that as it may, we as parliamentarians act on the basis of communication coming to us from the Speaker. We don't hear things in the news and act on them, or side copies of records of proceedings in any court on social media and act on them. We act on the basis of communication coming to us from the Right Honorable Speaker. And if that communication says we should walk into the sea, we walk into the sea, because we listen only to the Speaker and nobody else in relation to the integrity, the legality, and the appropriateness of what has happened in the chamber of Parliament.
On Tuesday, the House is set to resume after it adjourned last Thursday, and it's going to be a showdown because both sides are now carrying themselves as the majority in Parliament. But of course, the majority can't only be one side, and it is only one side that can sit on the right-hand side of the Speaker. But with both the NDC and the NPP pushing themselves onto that right side, it is left to be seen what exactly is going to happen then, with even claims now from the NDC MPs that certain soldiers are set to be deployed to the precincts of Parliament on Tuesday when the House resumes. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Killers may go, killers may come, but the revolution has come to stay. Revolution has a long way to go, but that's
On Thursday,
quite interesting times, isn't it? And this is what the NDC is saying. They will guard their majority side jealously. And they said if they should be inaugurated or when they are inaugurated as the majority side, they will make sure they abolish the e-levy the Ghanaians have been crying over. And they will also make sure the betting tax will be abolished because the young ones who have been betting and winning have been crying over this as well. And so it seems as though they have sent a certain message that if voted into power, we can do it. Well, let's hear your voice this morning. What will happen in Parliament tomorrow? Who will get there early? NPP says we'll occupy majority side. NDC says we'll occupy majority side. What time will the doors be opened? Who will go and occupy the majority side? Will the Speaker of Parliament succumb to the Supreme Court? Or will the Speaker of Parliament actually insist on his power and his authority as the Speaker of Parliament and that the Supreme Court's ruling ends at the doors of the Supreme Court? Ends at the doors of Parliament? Well, Philemon La Espoir is here and he's representing the NDC this morning. Good morning, Philemon.
Good morning.
How are you?
Rosalind.
Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Today I've dressed like one of you people.
Oh, one of which people?
The lawyers.
Oh, the black and white.
The black and white.
Yes.
Yes.
You look very awesome.
I do.
Yes,
Thank you
do,
very
you do.
much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, NDC, are you still majority in Parliament?
We are the majority in the Parliament of Ghana. The NDC remains a majority in Ghana's Parliament, unprecedented. You look at the several times this NPP government has fallen, and this is a clear example of one of those times, because the NDC has succeeded in toppling, and toppling rightly, legally, the NPP hitherto majority, and now we are the majority of Ghana's Parliament. And our commitment to the Ghanaian people remains solid. Our commitment to cutting down taxes is solid. Our commitment to improving the lot of the people of this country is solid. I must say kudos to the leadership of the NDC in Parliament, our new majority leader, the Honourable Dr. Kesel Atoforsen and his lieutenants. And of course, the distinguished MP for Tamale South, Honourable Haruna Idrisu, who has been an architect in all of this. All those peering the legal arguments, Honourable Mahama Yarga, Honourable Dominic Ayine, I mean, the rank and file of the party, who are solidly behind the majority caucus of the NDC in Parliament. I mean, you guys are doing a wonderful job. And our commitment remains. We would stop at nothing but protecting that majority status that we have in Parliament.
Okay. Now, you're a lawyer. Supreme Court has ruled. And we know as lawyers, you never defy what Supreme Court says. It's the highest ruling. With all of these, you're still willing to defy it?
What was the Supreme Court's order? or ruling.
For the people to stay at post.
Well, the point is that there must be a certain course of action. I have argued from the perspective that even there's a school of thought that argued that the Afenyo Makin had no course of action to even go to the Supreme Court. But put it aside, that may be a tangential issue. But the fact of the matter is that an unjust law is no law at all. St. Augustine from our church, the Catholic Church, is the one that said that. An unjust law is no law at all.
Are you saying this is an unjust
To the extent that the Supreme Court has acted in excess of its powers, I mean, that is something that I would personally defy. The Supreme Court must be able to operate within a particular legal structure. To the extent that that has not been followed and the Supreme Court is giving orders that are inconsequential or not relative or not related to the instant issues, I would personally defy it. But I see the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of issues, and it may be too simplistic for you to just say we are defying it. It's not just about defiance. It's the fact that the Supreme Court has acted in ways that further degrade the trust the people of this country have in it. Further degrade the trust we have in it. You see, I listened to a tape by Kandapa, National Security Minister. In the tape, he was talking to judges, members of the superior courts of judicature, the lower courts, and he told them that he entreats them to not rule in favor of the government all the time, and that constantly ruling in favor of the government would portray to the public that the judiciary is in bed with the government. I found that very, 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 very interesting. Why would a minister of national security, who of course is aware of all the security briefings in the country and is aware of the mood of the country? Look, Rosalind, I'm sure you are aware. You are aware the mood of this country.
But that's a good advice, isn't it?
But he's responding to the mood of the country because the people of this country have taken note.
Yeah, that's why he is the minister.
The people of this country have taken note of the fact that for one too many times, the judiciary rules in favor of the government. One too many. Anytime there's a pressing issue for which the government's back is against the wall, they tell everybody that we are going to the Supreme Court. There's an African proverb, an East African proverb. It says that, let me read it to you. This East African proverb says, when a thief encourages you to go to court, it is because his brother is a judge. East African proverb. When a thief encourages you to go to court, it is because his brother is a judge.
But you went to court, didn't you?
No. In this instance, we did not go to court.
Okay.
I'm speaking in the context of what the National Security Minister said.
No, I'm speaking in the instance of general court to go.
No, but I'm making my argument.
Okay.
And that argument is within the fact that the minority in Parliament, led by Afenyo Makin, went to court. They threatened everybody that will go to court and overturn it. Those were their words. We'll go to court and overturn it. How sure are you that you go to court, file it in the morning?
Yes, sure, because probably they know the law. They know how to defend their case and they will win.
Assuming they knew what their law is, they do not know the thinking of they are not supposed to know the thinking of the judges.
How do they know the thinking of the judges?
But if
you know how, you're a lawyer, you know how to defend your case in court, you know that with your defense and with your facts,
no matter how
win.
good you are as a lawyer, yours is not the final say. The thinking of the judge matters, especially on matters that you claim are interpretive. Can you tell, as a matter of fact, that you are sure that Judge A, Judge B, Judge C will interpret it in the way you think is right? Are you sure about that? You can't be sure. Even you and I, as Rosalind, that we are friends. If you offer me Gary and beans and you offer me Wachi, are you sure which one I'll select? So for you to be sure that I'll select Wachi over Gary and beans shows that we have had a prior arrangement. It demonstrates that. But if I'll end on the issue of the National Security Minister making that call, it is because he's aware of the mood of the country. And the mood of the country is that people are just so tired at the manner in which the judiciary acts. People are tired and people have taken note. And it's important that politics be left for politicians and the law be left for the judges. In the matter of politics, let the politicians handle.
All right. So Benjamin Jawapia has joined us from the NPP. Good morning, Benji.
Good morning, Rosalind.
How are you?
I really love your hairstyle.
Thank you very much.
You're looking extraordinary today.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm excited to be here, and good morning to Philemon. I have overheard him making some mischief and all that.
No, he says they are majority in Parliament, so I want to ask you, as NPP, are you majority in Parliament?
Rosalind, good morning to you and good morning to your cherished viewers. What the NDC is trying to do, Rosalind, is a recipe for disaster.
How?
Look, you see, we have rules and regulations, we have laws that govern people in this country. And whatever they are trying to do, you see, they are trying to, first of all, bastardize our court, run it down so that the ordinary Ghanaian will see that our judicial system is now polarized or politicized. And then they can have their way out. It's sad. It's sad. And on instances, on several precedents, have they won in court, and then they will shower praises on the judicial services or judicial arm of government or the court. But anytime they go to court and then they lose, that is when the problem comes in. I mean, that's very unfortunate. Whatever they are trying to do, look, we were here in this country when they, before declaration of the elections, had incited their members to run on the street and then become very happy to the extent of giving them false hope that they have won the elections. And after the EC had declared that the election was not in their favor, they said they were going to court. Oh, we are going to court. And now we have our evidence.
But this court issue, the two main political parties have done it, right?
Look.
In 2012, we saw the NPP go to court. In
Rosie.
2016, it didn't happen. In 2020, the NDC went to court. So it's just a repetition,
Rosie,
right?
One thing you never get from the NPP is to bastardize the court. Look, it was very painful when our flag bearer, our deaf flag bearer, the president today, in 2012, when he had gathered everything, with all the pink sheets and evidence, together with our flag bearer today, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, painfully accepted the results or the verdict of the court in 2012. Were you not here? It was in the supreme interest of the country.
In 2020, the NDC finally accepted the verdict
They didn't.
of the court.
They didn't. Up to now, even the president, their flag bearer, former President John Dramani Mahama, has still up to now not congratulated our president today. Meaning he has not accepted it.
But he congratulated him in 2016.
Well, he did. But when 2016, there was no court.
Yes,
it was clear. Over 1 million votes.
Yeah.
So 2020, they took it to court. And they themselves, their then General Secretary, Asiedun Ketia, who is the chairman today, told the court, open in camera, that they had no evidence. Weren't you here? So what they are doing is very dangerous. Look, let's go into the matter. Let's go into the issues. What are the issues?
You have just about 3 minutes to make your issue, and then I can move.
Oh,
You've spoken for
I'm
about...
sorry, but you see, I have a problem with Speaker Bagbe. He's the worst speaker we've ever had in this country. Bullying everybody.
So I'll ask
And he can take me to parliamentary committee or whatever.
I'll ask you this.
What?
For me, I think that when we sit on TV, we just want to be free and
No,
fair.
but-
No, I'm just asking you. I'm just saying, please. I just want us to be free and fair. If any way the NDC say and the president is the worst president ever, I hope that the MPP will not tell us to retract.
Rosalind, I am not saying it.
Because sometimes you tell us that as presenters, no, this person said this, tell the person to retract. So I'm
Rosalind,
just saying, I'm not
I
stopping
understand you.
But as you're saying,
I understand
so
you.
that,
That's my own opinion.
But once there's no insult, we are good to go,
No,
right?
no problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Rosalind, this is my own opinion. And not that, backed by evidence from the NDC, from the minority side. We are in this country when Mutaka said he's never experienced any attitude from any of the speakers like Bagbe. He said Speaker Okwe was for both sides. But clearly, that is Mutaka, their own NDC member of parliament for Asawase, says Bagbe's character is out of order. And clearly you can see it. Oh, we've had instances where he would tell people that he's number 3 in this country, and what number are you? We've seen so many speakers. Have you seen any of the speakers demonstrate this kind of attitude before? So clearly, you should know that Bagbe is doing the bidding of the NDC. I won't lie. And clearly, he has ruined his reputation.
Let me ask you this. When Speaker Michael Quay, Honorable Michael Quay, declared a seat vacant, did he also abuse his power?
No. What we did was the party wrote to the speaker, okay, in the interest of the country, wrote to the speaker that this seat is vacant.
Why did the party write?
Okay, because actually we were in talks with our candidate then, who had still insisted that he wanted to go on independent.
And these people have insisted on going?
Well, I cannot clearly say.
But
you see,
what
in
does
the
your party
matter,
constitution say? Your party constitution, I remember when some members of your party decided to join Movement for Change, your party issued a statement telling Ghanaians that these people desist from being a part of your party because this is what your constitution says. Now, there are people who have declared that they are going independent. And so if they're going independent, why are we then pretending as though this time around, things are changing? Things are not still
These are legal issues. And in Ghana, we do not run a parliamentary supremacy like Westminster in UK, okay? We run constitutional supremacy. The 1992 Constitution is supreme above any other person in this country. So, who has the right to declare a seat vacant? If you read Article 97, 1G of the Constitution, a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat if he leaves a party which he was a member of at the time of the election to Parliament to join or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. I want to also state
97G, right?
Yes. I want to also state, if you go into the same 1992 Constitution, okay, on a matter of declaration, vacancy in Parliament, it is expressly pronounced in Article 99(1) of the Constitution, the High Court shall have jurisdiction to hear and determine any question on whether A, a person has been validly elected as member of Parliament or the seat of a member has become vacant. So by operation of the law, you can clearly tell that the Speaker has no right. The Speaker has no right to declare any seat vacant. It is only in High Court that we determine such matters.
But this is Supreme Court.
So, yes, exactly.
So you went beyond High Court.
So, yes, exactly, because when we went in there for interpretation.
You should have just gone to High Court.
So,
that's one thing that Ghanaians are asking.
No problem.
Because for Ghanaians, they feel that, I'll come back to you. My time for you is up, so let me go to Philemon and then I'll come back to you. Don't worry, I'll come back to you with the same question. Don't worry.
No
yeah, Philemon, please.
Right. It's very important that we're able to understand what the law really says. When it comes to the interpretation of a constitution, there are rules. There are tenets to how a constitution is interpreted. But first of all, let's go to Article 97. 97(1).
Yeah, a member of Parliament. Wait, so let's start. A member of Parliament, Article 97, it says, a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament.
Hold on. That's what I want you to say.
Okay.
Article 97(1). A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament. A member of Parliament shall vacate his seat in Parliament. Now let's go to H.
Let's start from A.
No,
we just want an understanding, so that don't worry, we'll go to H.
Right.
It runs all the way from A to H. Right. So A, upon a dissolution of Parliament.
So when Parliament is over, that means he loses his seat.
B, if he's elected as Speaker of Parliament.
Like Bagben, who was an MP and elected Speaker, so he vacated his seat.
C, if he's absent without the permission in writing of the Speaker and he is unable to offer a reasonable explanation to the Parliamentary Committee on privilege from 15 sittings of a meeting of Parliament during any period of Parliament has been summoned to meet and continue to meet. D, if he is expelled from Parliament after having been found guilty of contempt of Parliament by a committee of Parliament. E, if any circumstances arise such that, if he were not a member of Parliament, would cause him to be disqualified or ineligible for election under Article 94 of his Constitution. F, if he resigns from office as a member of Parliament by writing under his hand address to the Speaker. Or G, if he leaves the party of which he was a member at the time of his election to Parliament to join another party or seeks to remain in Parliament as an independent member. H, if he was elected a member of Parliament as an independent candidate and joins a political party.
Awesome.
So you're going to use what? G and H?
G and H.
Okay.
So the main point of Article 97 is that a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat. So that duty is on that member of Parliament. The law is very clear that that MP shall, and the operative word shall, when you come to the Interpretations Act, is that it is mandatory. It must happen. It must happen. If he leaves the party for which he was a member at the time of his election in Parliament to join another party, in the case of Esiama, has he not moved away from independent to MPP? That's in particular reference to H. In the case of all other three, are they moving from one party? Are they not moving from one party to become independent candidate? It is very clear, very clear. So the responsibility by the express provision of the preamble of Article 97 is that a member of Parliament shall vacate his seat to the extent that he has moved from his party to an independent or from independent to a political party. Those are the express provisions of the law. On the issue of the certain said at Article 99, that one talks about when there are issues that challenge the validity of someone's election. The validity of your election. Like in the case of rewulency, when there was a challenge on whether or not the MP had been properly elected by the rules of the EC. Then you challenge it in the High Court. Like in the case of Jachi Kwesen, like in the case of all those others whose seats were challenged, you take the challenge to the High Court. That's what it means. It doesn't mean that when the Constitution is very clear that if you have cross-carpeted, you leave. You don't heed to that. You go using another law which does not relate to this particular matter. The MPP are being very hypocritical.
But let me ask you, for most people, they are wondering why the NDC is so much into being majority when we have less than 50 days to vote.
It's not about, we're not bent on being majority. We are majority. And we are majority by an operation of law.
But you're bent on being majority.
We are not,
actually,
no.
Your leader did
Whichever
say that
way it is.
you would defend the majority side jealously, meaning you are bent on being majority.
If you make that argument, you are trying to say that when the laws are clear, we should close our eyes to the laws. That's what you try to suggest. Because we are majority as an operation of law. We are majority because MPP members have cross-carpeted to become independent candidates. We are majority because one of our own has defected to be an independent candidate. We are majority because 97.1 J and H have told us that when these things happen, one party loses its seats. We are majority because now we have 36 seats when they have 135. Creature of law. So it's not because we sat down and orchestrated for things to happen, but it is because the law has provided that when A and B and C happens, the NDC becomes majority. I'm saying the MPP are very hypocritical. They are very hypocritical when you look at their own constitution.
A minute more, please.
Their own constitution. They say that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party, or who joins or declares his or her support for another political party or for an independent candidate when the party has sponsored a candidate in the general election or by-election, automatically forfeits his membership of the party.
But then,
that is in the MPP constitution.
This is a case whereby the NPP is also saying that this is our constitution, however, we have decided I want to keep them.
Have you not read them say automatically forfeits? Does it say that they should constitute a body to listen to you and decide whether or not you are still a member of the party? It says you shall automatically forfeit your membership of the party. That is in the MPP constitution.
So whether they write a letter,
what are they defending
is that
today?
What you're saying? Whether they write a letter to Parliament or not, for you, once it's in their constitution, it is supposed to be. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's the point, because their own constitution, and they are bound by their constitution. Unless you can tell me the MPP is not bound by their own constitution. Article 1.2 says that every other law in Ghana is valid to the extent that it is not in contravention to the laws of Ghana. So to the extent that there's no inconsistency between what the MPP constitution is saying and what the laws of Ghana is saying, it is valid, proper law. And they are saying that anyone that defects automatically loses his position as a member of the party. So on what basis would the MPP come out today wanting to pontificate? I think that this reflects the hypocrisy of the MPP, the pungent hypocrisy of this government. Let me end by saying this. As a matter of fact, there are several matters that are before the Supreme Court waiting for dates. Several matters waiting for dates, based on which we can even go before the court to make our arguments. People of this country, is it not interesting that the MPP, whenever they file an issue, in a matter of hours, if not days, they get audience at the Supreme Court? in the specific issue of the LGBTQI matter by the Honorable Roxanne Dafiemeko. The particular one about an injunction, it has been at the Supreme Court for months.
All right.
And even a date to appear before the court to argue his case has not been given him. But yet the MPP would get audience at the Supreme Court in minutes, hours, if not days.
But this is a case whereby we know that elections are just around the corner, and hence urgency ought to be applied to it. I believe that the Supreme Court acts upon what is very urgent, and this particular issue was urgent at that time.
Give me a second to explain this. I get your point.
Please. If that ruling had been in the favor of the NDC, I don't know if they'll sing the same tune now and say that, oh, it was ruled within 24 hours and it's too short and they had other things. No, there are agencies in situations like this. So this was one of the agencies.
Kindly indulge me to add this point. I agree with you that agency is important.
Yes.
And based on agency, the Supreme Court should allow for certain matters to be heard. Let me tell you the danger of the Supreme Court not allowing the LGBTQI matter to be heard before the court. You know, for every bill...
When I come to you, write it down. No, write it down. So when I come to you, you say it.
Very well.
I want to be fair to Benji. Benji, please, your take.
You see, I am overwhelmed and shocked with the level of ignorance Philemon is displaying this morning when it comes to rules and laws governing this country. Since when did the NPP laws become supreme in this country? In any case, there has been some rules.
Are all laws not supreme?
No, but you see...
Whatever, no matter how small the law is, is it not supreme?
The 1992 Constitution is the supreme law that must govern any other law.
So your laws don't hold?
So I am saying, if my law is saying anything different from what the 1992 Constitution is saying, it's void. It's null and void, and it's there. It's been stated in Article 1-2. Okay?
But what is the 1992 Constitution saying, though?
But, you see, the 1992 Constitution is the supreme law of Ghana.
Exactly.
The MPP law is not supreme.
But what is it saying with regards to, when somebody has, cross carpets?
That's why I'm saying that when it comes to matters of interpretation, it's the Supreme Court that needs to determine it. And we went there. Has there not been a finality to the discussion of the whole issue? Look, Roslyn, in 2012, when the then flag bearer of the NPP accepted painfully that the Supreme Court had made its ruling and that the verdict was out, and that President Mahama, validly elected, was the president of Ghana, did the NPP say, oh, we do not agree with the Supreme Court, so all our members should jump on the street, and that President Akufo-Addo forcefully was the president of the Republic? Would you have imagined the kind of chaos?
No, Benji, please, let's get the facts right. I'm begging you. In 2020, the people went on the streets before the court ruling. Let's not make it seem as if the people went on the street after the court ruling. Before, it was when the EC declared, the people went on the street, caused chaos, which we all condemned, but it was not after the
Constitution, who's supposed to declare
elections. No, but I'm
elections?
just saying. I'm
By
just saying.
Constitution.
No, but you are saying that they went on the street after the declaration. No.
No, I'm saying.
The declaration by the court, they didn't act after that. They only acted before they went to court.
Right. I am saying that in 2012, it was 2012, right?
Mm-hmm. When MPP went to court, yes.
And I'm saying, if Parliament, like we all know, the Supreme Court made its ruling and brought a verdict, okay? And, if the NPP had rejected the verdict and had gone on the street, just like they are doing. So right now, what the NDC is, the minority side of Parliament is trying to say is that they do not recognize the ruling of the Supreme Court. That is what they are doing right now. And that tomorrow, they will see themselves at the majority side of Parliament. Just imagine the chaos that we're all here. Was it about 2 years, in 2020, before the parliamentary selection on speaker, during the voting? You remember the chaos? It's likely to happen tomorrow. Is it good for our democracy?
The chaos that happened in Parliament.
In Parliament. Is it good? Is it good for our democracy? Why can't we? We only have about 49 days to elections.
But that chaos that happened, though, if we remember, it was to elect the speaker.
Exactly.
Where there was actually a tie at some point.
Exactly.
And the NDC felt they were leading. and there was chaos in Parliament where the military was brought in, but then the military was asked to go out because their powers do not extend into Parliament.
But you see, that's exactly what they are trying to do tomorrow. That they will try and cause problems for the majority side of Parliament. When there has been a finality of the whole, case, Supreme Court has made its rulings. Rosin, why can't we respect that? What is so hard to do that? Because in any event, if there is any possible defeat for them, staring at them currently in the 2024 elections, you will see they won't go to court. And that the judges or the panels of the Supreme Court belong to the NPP. And that they wouldn't go for any ruling. Do you anticipate what is coming in the near future? That is what the NDC is trying to do. That by force status, they would implement themselves as the majority side of Parliament tomorrow.
I think that for this particular one, I think it's both political parties that are doing it. I don't want to say that it's one political party. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because it could have been a peaceful one if Speaker had decided not to have said those seats are vacant. It could have been a peaceful one if when Speaker said, using what the Constitution said, if the Speaker said, oh, okay, we have declared these seats vacant, hence this is what is happening, and the NPP had accepted it. It could have been peaceful if the NPP didn't go to court. It could have been peaceful if the NDC too didn't do, come out to tell us that we will guard it jealously. So it's the two political. Can you sit down and agree?
The Speaker has no power to declare a seat vacant. It's the High Court that does. So when you have an outside power.
A Speaker has no power.
He has no power to declare it.
I'm not
it's
a
in the
lawyer,
Constitution.
so I'll let Philip
interpret it. It's the High Court that needs to determine it. We've read it here.
But you went over the High Court. You went to the Supreme Court. Why didn't you go? There's another question that people are asking. Why didn't the NPP go to the High Court?
But the High Court and the Supreme Court, which one is higher? It's the Supreme Court.
Yes, so why will you
go? So yes, of course, you can go there. You can go there when you want to.
Is it not abuse of
power? No, it's not at all. Look, I am saying it's very important. And I am saddened. Just by our next studio, on Saturday, the Honorable Mahama Ayariga on Joy News stated, and by verbatim, he said that the Supreme Court is full of unintelligent people. Can you imagine? He said this.
I think with that one, Supreme Court will take him on if anything.
That's
not for us. That's for Supreme Court to take him on.
This political gymnastics that this NDC is trying to display is that they are preparing their members for possible future war for this upcoming election if there's any dispute.
No, there won't be. Jesus.
Listen, that they will not resort to the Supreme Court and that they will take the law into their own hands. So that is what they are trying to do. They forcefully want to have their own way, whilst we have rules. Even in Parliament, they have standing orders. Okay? And they must recognize that. Rosalind, what we need is peace. I am expecting the flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, to come quickly and intervene and tell them, look, we have only 49 days to election. Sit at your minority side and let this NPP enjoy their majority side. And that, because we are assured, or we are very sure of the victory ahead, allow them, for the peaceful nature of Ghana that we are all enjoying, allow them to have their days. Their days are numbers or something like that.
Okay.
But they want to bring chaos. They want to bring, disaster.
Let me read a few messages.
And that's not helpful.
Morning, please, on the topic of the Supreme Court judgment, the Speaker was served with a court sermon that the issue was in Supreme Court for interpretation. So you ask, why did Gbagbe rule on the issue that has gone for interpretation? There's fire from Obuasi. Which political risk the President Akufo-Addo is saying he took to fight Galamsey? Ghanaians rather took a political risk by trying President Akufo-Addo and his vice president, but both of them have failed us. Okay. The Speaker only followed precedents and not the law. This Parliament had been very chaotic right from the election of the Speaker till date. If not in a haste to please his party, why will he pronounce judgment to declare the seat vacant? How can we just wake up one day to be told that the people's verdict in 2020 had been overturned in just 3 weeks for Parliament to be resolved? If you want to win majority seats in government, you are voted for. You don't depend on the Speaker. This is Ado Kwewu Abetifi. Good morning, Roslyn. We thank God for making the NDC majority in Parliament to cancel the e-levy and betting tax. At least Ghanaians will get breathing space. This time, the unanimous FC's 5-0 will not work so far as Parliament is concerned. Goodbye to the wicked e-levy and betting tax. Solomon Zenu from... Okay. Madam Roslyn, I am not an NDC member or sympathizer, but the Akufo-Addo is lawless and has packed the judiciary so that any case the Akufo-Addo's government sends to the court, especially Supreme Court, is ruled in their favor, either ultra vires or not. Akufo-Addo is an extensional threat to Ghanaian, as opposed to what Bosman Asari said. I am distraught and flabbergasted that those who made noise at any given time in NDC era are now sheepishly silent today, especially the Peace Council, Ghana Bar Association, and others. I expect the Speaker of Parliament to stamp his authority come Tuesday and not to comply with the so-called Supreme Court directive. Good morning, dear, and to your panelists. This is from Charles Echampo. Wow. Charles, the biggest threat our dear country is facing in recent times, apart from COVID-19 and Russia-Ukraine, is this NDC and their so-called journalists who are plugging the country into chaos without any good things. Okay, so we are not having short memories like most of their sympathizers, which part introduced condom taxes on cutlasses, Kayayo, and the rest. I hope the security should be on the lookout for any hooligan who will try to misbehave. Aziz Bayo from Wa. The decision of the court to overturn the decision of the Speaker is a clear travesty of justice and an illegal attempt to use judicial powers to suppress the rights of the Speaker in favor of the NPP. Roslyn, is it not surprising how the Supreme Court has skipped many cases to swiftly react to the desperate Honorable Avenue Marking, now minority leader's case? I urge the CJ to reconsider her decision to safeguard the safety and sanctity of our democracy. The NDC remains the majority in Parliament as far as the laws of our country are concerned. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema. Good morning, my sister Roslyn. I am enjoying your show at Brekum. Keep up the good work. My humble greetings to Prophetess Martha Kwanama Brekum, Kito Immigration. Okay, so. Good morning, Roslyn. You look beautiful this morning. Roslyn, do you know that this election is record breaker? If JM wins, he will be the only person to be the president for 9.5 years. And if he fails to win, he'll be the only president who didn't complete his 8th term in office as president. And if NPP wins, they'll break the 8, putting NDC in opposition for 60 years. This is the reason why there will be tension in this year's election, but I will plead with our political parties to talk to their supporters to calm down. Nana Usu from Goso. Nana Usu, thank you very much. I really like that message. The thing is, these NPP government don't think about Ghanaians. Look at the urgency to which they rush the issue to court because it concerns them and they are lust for power. You guys should channel same energy to fight against Galamsey and LGBTQ. My regards to Honorable Richard. Okay. Good morning, Joy Prime. We are kindly appealing to Speaker of Parliament to see to it that his ruling, as he has announced in Parliament, remains unchanged. NPP is now minority and NDC is majority. NDC should not bow down for any pressure or intimidation from any quarters. We stand with them. Good morning, Roslyn. I have little sympathy towards the NPP. However, in this case, I think the NDC and the Speaker have no case. At the same time, the Supreme Court has caused damage to the reputation of justice in Ghana by their action. If an MP says that they will not stand again at the upcoming election, you can't ban them from being an MP for the rest of the current parliament. In the same way, if they say from following parliament they will be independent, you can't remove them from the ongoing parliament. If MPP has said because the MPs are standing as independent, the MPP would not deal with them any more, then the Speaker and NDC would have a case. And by the way, I think that the clause in the Constitution should be removed. It makes MPs fear to go against their party no matter what. Not good for Ghana, not good for democracy. I agree with you. I agree with you with that clause. Master Planner says that if the NDC wants majority in Parliament, they should go to their constituencies and work harder and earn it. We don't manufacture majority at the Parliament House. Ghanaians are fed up with their tricks and propaganda. 2024 elections is about policies and track records. Vote number 1. Okay. Mesa Majid from Bechem, I think I'll read just 2 more because I have so many. Ooh, I'll try. We're quite interested, isn't it? Mesa Majid from Bechem, Toronto says that Marigasu, okay, says the majority in Parliament held a press conference yesterday and it was fantastic. Separation of powers must work. Each organ of government should be allowed to do an independent work. What happened to the Formena MP has happened again and the law wasn't different. Why are we trying to misinterpret the law to suit a certain group of people? What is good for the goose is equally good for the gander. Did the NPP understand? Good morning, Rosalind. Please see if NPP thought they are more intelligent than we Ghanaians, that NPP guy sitting there think he knows more than we Ghanaians, calling we Ghanaians ordinary. Did God make somebody ordinary without NPP? Can we sit here? Can he sit here, Daniel from Pando? Oh, Daniel, that ordinary is... Me, I also say the ordinary Ghanaian, because me, I'm ordinary. So don't take that to heart, okay? Ordinary is not an insult.
Like
yeah, I mean, yeah, because I'm ordinary. So when we talk about ordinary Ghana, it's not an insult, please. I beg you. Good morning. I am Prince, watching you live from Kingston Paul. Give Richard his tone for what he said on Friday via Zoom. NPP should look for him. Did I hear the NPP rep say NPP does not bastardize the court? Which party boys? Okay, which party boys beat judges and lawyers during court proceedings in Kumasi?
Exactly.
Anyway, the disqualified parliamentarians are not complaining, neither their respective constituents. Why has NPP taken this issue personal? Are these constituents better than Sal people? What a hypocrisy. Datus from Lolo B. Datus, this is the first time you're sending us a message. Thank you very much. And you at home can also continue sending your messages. I will come back and read more messages very soon. I think that I was on Philemon. Philemon, I asked you to write something because you wanted to make a point. Yes. So please.
I think that there's been a trickle-down effect of the arrogance of Nanado on his party people. Because I listened to what my brother said. I thought there would be some decorum in the way we address each other. Let me educate him. Article 9 of the NPP Constitution. That's what I read. It says that a member of the party who stands as an independent candidate against the officially elected member of the party that automatically forfeits his or her membership of the party. I read this. I also made reference to Article 1.2 of the Constitution, talking about the supremacy of the Constitution and laws of Ghana, and that any other law is valid to the extent that it is not inconsistent with the Constitution. I argue that this provision of Article 9 of the NPP Constitution is not in contravention to the laws of this country. That means that for all those that have defected from the NPP, they have forfeited their members. You remember you even asked me, and I said automatically, they have forfeited. So why do you sit there and try to use such words against me? I think it's important for you to be decorous. So to the extent that they have automatically lost their membership of the NPP, that means that they are not even part of the party again. So on what basis is Afenyo making all the noise he's making, ugly noises, I must add, he's making, saying that these people should be maintained as members of parliament? How will they be maintained as members of parliament if your party has automatically even sacked them from the party? If your party has terminated their membership of the party.
But it's not them as members.
That's one angle of it. Right? That's one angle. I'm talking about their membership of the NPP.
If you terminate their membership, does that also nullify the fact that they were voted as members of parliament?
It does. It does.
How?
So on one score, you have been terminated from your party. That's one. Number two, by the express provisions of the preamble, that says that an MP shall vacate his seat if, when you come to H and J, he has moved from an independent status to a political party, or from a political party to an independent status. Those are conditions, but it is incumbent on the MP himself. And the question that arises is that, has any of these MPs challenged the fact that they have vacated their seats? They have not. I have not heard any of them in all of these debates that have gone on, not Esiama, not Mamle Morrison. None of them have come out to speak about that. None of them have challenged. In fact, there's evidence, concrete evidence to show that they have vacated their various parties and have gone independent. Has there not been a publication of a notice of poll by the EC, which demonstrates that they are officially the candidate of an independent entity? or have moved away from their party. That is basic. I'll demonstrate to you again that the refusal, inability, or whatever the case may be, of the Supreme Court to hear issues relative to the LGBTQI matter is a waste of the public purse, and that is also an urgent matter. You know, no work done by one parliament can be transferred to another parliament. So look at how far the LGBTI, the Family Values Bill, we've gotten to just the presidential assent. Akufo-Addo has cowardly refused to sign it. In the event that this parliament terminates, the next parliament, if they want to make this law again, would have to start from scratch to go through the whole process again before reaching presidential assent for President Mahama to assent to it. Is that not a waste of the resources of this country? Look at the particular case of the one that allows you to request for information, freedom of information, freedom of information Act, RTR, right to information law. That was the challenge several parliaments faced. They would work on it, go like 80%, 90%, and the life of the parliament would terminate. Then the next parliament would have to start again. Now tell me, with the possibility of this thing happening, it's not an urgent matter.
You also didn't pass the RTI.
I'm talking about
no,
the issue.
To it.
I'm just giving you as a persuasive argument.
The bill was passed under the NPP though, but you continue.
The persuasive argument is that if the Supreme Court does not find this urgent, then it is interesting. It is interesting because if the Supreme Court does not give audience to Rox and Dafia Mekpo to make his case before the court and therefore get finality to the matter, the next parliament would have to start all over again. So this demonstrates that it's an urgent matter, and it is curious that the Supreme Court will decide what is urgent in the person of Afenyo Makin. But on the matter of the expenses, and look, making a law is not easy. It's expensive. All the committee meetings, they having to go gather per diems and all of that, calling of experts, busing of moving to Parliament, it's an expensive enterprise. So why would the Supreme Court pick and choose what is more important to them? And the question that still remains is that why must it be the case that whenever the MPP brings a matter, as a matter of urgency, they look at, and you see, justice must not only be done, it must be manifestly seen to be done. And in this case, the people of this country are worried. Let me also speak about something called the political question doctrine.
You know, before you go into it, Benji did say that the Speaker doesn't have the right to declare those seats vacant. You're a lawyer.
That's an extension of his ignorance. Parliament is a master of its own rules. Parliament is a master of, let me read you Order 18.
Okay.
Order 18 of the Standing Orders of Parliament says that the Speaker shall inform the House of the occurrence of a vacancy of the seat of a member under Clause 1B of Article 97. To the extent that 97, I've already given you a prayer.
Not declare the seat vacant.
I'm making a point.
Okay.
To the extent that that preamble has been set, that a member of Parliament shall vacate. Already these members of Parliament, they have not challenged it. You are Afenyo Makin, what is your course of action in this matter?
My question here is, you read something.
Yes, I'll come to
point. We just want clarity on the point.
You are too smart for laugh. You are too smart for laugh.
Benji.
You are too smart for laugh.
It is arrogant commentary like this. Arrogant commentary like this. Arrogant commentary.
The word is informed.
Arrogant.
Benji, hold on, please.
Would you rein him in? Otherwise, I keep telling you, because,
Benji,
Rosalind,
if
you have ungovernable, ignorant, nonsensical people like this, then that means the program becomes ungovernable. Because you see insulting languages like this.
You can't even resort to it.
Benji, hold on, please.
Explain, inform.
Someone who does not understand Article 1 of the Constitution. Someone who doesn't understand Article 1.
Can I please?
Rosalind, I'm waiting for your question.
Please.
No, Rosalind, the point is this. You will not proceed if you do not hold this guy. Because this is the third time running that you have an ungovernable person who comes on the show and misbehaves. This is the third time, Rosalind. You must rein him in. We can't accept nonsense like this. Rein him in. This is not the first time.
Gentlemen.
Rein him in.
The other journalists, where you have your way.
Why do you have someone like this?
You put
all the time, you can't
and
then says nonsense. You can't think about it.
Answer it.
Can you stop, please?
Yes.
Rein him in.
I'm here.
Stop
I'm here.
This is not the first time.
Philemon.
It's not the first time.
Benjamin, the two of you, I don't like.
Rein him in. That's what you must do.
Philemon.
Because every time I'm here, he uses insulting language. You allow him.
Philemon.
Rein him in.
Philemon, you don't tell me how to do my job.
You should rein him in.
You don't tell me how to do my job.
Not when he keeps on passing comments like that.
Philemon. He passed the comments. You were here when I told him that with that comment...
He's passed it again. That's the point.
Gentlemen, please, Philemon, I beg you, I'm pleading with you. We need some decorum here. We need some decorum here. Let's respect our viewers at home. Let's not get out of hand. When one is making his point, Let that person make his point.
Rosalie, I'm sorry,
And then the other
you can
person
go
can
on. I'm
come
sorry,
in.
you
Let's
can
not use
proceed.
insulting words. I'm begging you.
You can proceed,
And
I'm
let's
sorry.
not make anybody feel inferior. Both
No
of you are
problem.
very important people to us.
You
and
go
we
on.
respect
You go
both
on.
of you equally.
Sorry to your viewers.
Thank you
can go
very
on.
much. Philemon, please. Go ahead and make your point. I'm begging you. Philemon?
I would emphasize that to the extent that I would be heckled like this, I will treat him back in equal measure. And it's the same measure
Philemon,
that...
let's move on, please.
It's a point I'm making.
Apologized.
It's a point I'm making. That to the extent that the MPP rep would continue to misbehave like this, we shall treat them back in equal measure. It's very important because I afford him the respect. And if he continues to act in the manner of Akufo Addo, we shall treat him in the same manner.
Philemon, let me, I'll reiterate what I said, please.
You have reiterated, but this is the third time.
Philemon.
It's the third time.
Philemon.
Every week I remind you that this guy does that, and you do nothing about
Philemon.
it. That's why he continues.
Philemon.
It must be established.
Philemon.
When other MPP guests come, do we have this kind of behavior? We don't.
Do not get out of control, please.
I'm not out of control,
please.
but he
Thank
is the
you
one
very
that's out
much.
of control.
I have said what I said. Can we move on, please?
He's the one out of control. Establish that.
Move on. Thank you very much. You were on the floor. Make your point.
The fact of the matter is that he lied about the fact that the party is not, they are hypocritical. The MPP is a hypocritical party. Their own...
Okay.
Rosalind, you not tell me what I have
Make
to
your
say.
point. Make your point.
You also will
I'll
not tell
ask
me
you
what I have to
questions.
say.
Make your point. I have the right to ask questions. Make your point.
But you don't tell me what I say.
I'm not saying what...
So the fact of the matter is that the MPP itself have been a deviation from what the law says. Nothing stops the fact that the NDC is a majority in Parliament. The Speaker of Parliament has acted in clear consonance with what the law says. And I must emphasize that Parliament is a master of its own laws. Nobody can tell Parliament how they must work. And when you look at the issue of the political question doctrine, it says that political issues must be distinguished from other issues. Now, what is happening in Parliament is a creature of politics. Why must the judiciary extend its hand into the operations of the political issues of Parliament? The judiciary cannot. And in the case of Baker vs. Carr, I can read that to you. In the case of Baker vs. Carr...
You have just 30 seconds to land talk.
After all these interjections.
Yes, because you had 2 minutes. You had
after
already
all these
got
interjections.
there, so please.
Then I better come with my first round, then I'm able to go full throttle.
Okay, make it. Oh, you come
Full
first
throttle,
round. Okay, fantastic. Benji.
You see, Rosalind, I am scandalized with some of this hypocrisy coming out from the NDC. In 2012, exactly 12 years today, there was this NDC MP called Michael Tetenyungu, popularly known as MTN. When the then Speaker of Parliament, Doa Jaho, Michael MTN, as we popularly know him, decided to go independent. He never declared his seat vacant, even when it was sent to High Court. Doa Jaho skipped every aspect of the ruling and never declared it. So why today? The question is, why today? Because we have precedent. We have precedent that seeks to remind us.
Wasn't that precedent erased by Honorable Michael Quay's ruling?
No, this is 2012.
Yeah, but Honorable Michael Quay's ruling was after this precedent.
You see?
Was set.
You see? But that's where we need to draw the line. When the party had written to him to inform him of one of our members of Parliament who had crossed the carpet. In this instance, the Speaker has no power to declare. His own is to inform. And that's when you ask that intelligent question so that he can explain further for our viewers. He refused to explain that his duty is not to declare, right? He is just to inform after the ruling is being made by the High Court. So how then do you, when matters of such nature have not been to the High Court or the Supreme Court, you sit in your chair with arrogance display of power, declare such seats? Look, for me, I feel for the peaceful nature that we are all supposed to be enjoying in this country, the Speaker, could have equally ignored the agenda on the or the item on the table, because we only have 49 days for the elections. Now you put us in a vacuum where
it's 47 days.
47 days, where there is likely, like I said, this is a recipe for chaos, a recipe for disaster. And now he's acting as if he's innocent.
Benji, I think what Ghanaians feel is that the hypocritical nature is not from just one political party. I said it earlier.
Right.
So for the NPP, you declared a seat vacant under Honorable Michael Quay.
Right.
You wrote a letter to him.
Was it for the NDC or for the NPP?
No, the NPP wrote a letter.
Exactly.
That's why I said for the NPP.
Exactly.
Good. What stopped you from writing a letter this time? What changed?
Look, that's why I'm telling you that with all these things that are happening, the speaker could have avoided everything.
Has your constitution changed?
No, it hasn't.
So why didn't you write that
But
letter?
you see,
what stopped you?
with
Is it because
everything,
you want to remain majority in Parliament?
With everything, Rosalind, I understand. But with everything, when an issue is sent to the Supreme Court, and there has been a finality of the issue, and that there is a pronouncement, there is a verdict, there is a ruling, no one in this our country should try in any way possible, not to follow that precedent or the ruling of the Supreme Court. And that for me is very scary, because that is what the NDC is saying. I have heard Sam George over the weekend on a big platform on his campaign trail say that they are going to,
occupy the majority.
Exactly. So right now we have no laws in this country. We have, even when the matter has gone to the Supreme Court and there has been ruling, the NDC can say that, openly, publicly. You've heard Mahama Ayariga tell us that the Supreme Court is full of intelligent people. How do we make such pronouncement? Can we really coexist in this country? I am just looking forward for tomorrow, that I hope that these parliamentarians will look at the better side of our country and make sure that democracy wins, that there has been a finality.
What will be the democracy? What rule is democratic?
That the Supreme Court has spoken, and that we must all abide by it.
But do you know that we practice separation of powers? So
Actually.
even if Supreme Court rules...
So you mean...
I'm just saying, with regards to what Benji read, the Speaker is supposed to inform, okay?
Exactly.
Which I get.
Philemon, yeah.
However, Speaker has declared.
Right.
And Supreme Court's ruling ends at the doors of Parliament, not inside. And so at this point, will the Speaker take what Supreme Court has said and re-inform and overturn his ruling, which is going to be democratic?
Exactly. So you see, the separation of powers has to do with checks and balances. That is the whole purpose of this whole thing.
So that if the Supreme Court's ruling overturns what Speaker says, would that not rather be a bit chaotic?
No.
You want to be?
That's democracy.
Okay.
Because in a special purpose vehicle in that democratic era, it's very important that the checks and balances that we are all praying for works in this country.
All right.
And that is exactly what the Speaker must adhere to. That at the end of the day, you erred. It went to the Supreme Court, another arm of government, which is supposed to be checking you and balancing the act of democracy. You come back and inform that, oh, I erred. Now there has been a finality of the whole matter. There has been a conclusion. So I flip it back to the majority side. What is so hard?
Okay.
At the expense of when we know that we only have 49 days. These 49 days can cause chaos throughout. And at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to take advantage of it and all that. And it wouldn't be good for our democracy.
All right. Philemon?
In an attempt by the government...
Everybody has 3 minutes, so I can read some messages before we go, please.
In an attempt by the government to deploy the military tomorrow at the precincts of Parliament will be resisted, because the people of this country have an inherent right to defend this constitution.
Do you think they can do that? Because
they have done it before.
No, they did it, but they were sacked out of Parliament.
Now I'm even talking about the precincts. I'm not even talking about inside Parliament. I'm talking about the precincts of Parliament. It shall be resisted. It shall be resisted because they have shown us that whenever they have soldiers at the precincts of Parliament, they have an inherent intent to push them into the grounds of Parliament. And we must reject that. We must reject that. This NPP government has spoiled everything in this country. Everything in this country. From the economy down to even the way of life of the Ghanaian people. It has been destroyed to the very core. Why is the NPP the one that are raising issues of the potential for violence? The potential for violence. And that the NDC should be peace-loving and retreat because there's a recipe for violence. Who has perpetrated violence on the people of this country more than this NPP government? One of your texts brought the issue about how NPP thugs attacked a judge in court, open court, and yet some of them today are walking free. Today, some of them are walking free. That is a record of this NPP government, very lawless. The NDC is stuck to what the law says. And what the law says is that the Speaker of Parliament, and that Parliament as an institution, as an arm of government, is a master of its own rules. To the extent that Parliament is performing responsibilities that are within its legitimate powers, the judiciary cannot interfere. Neither can the executive. And that feeds into the political question doctrine, that issues of politics must be left for the politicians. If the judiciary every day would interfere in the workings of politics, that means the country will become ungovernable. So if there's any admonition to be made, that admonition should be made at the office of the Chief Justice and the Justices of the Supreme Court. Because leave the politics for the politicians.
A minute more.
Leave the politics for the politicians. That is what the judiciary must do. In the case of Baker vs. Carr, even in the case of Salah vs. Attorney General here in Ghana, the courts have been very clear that when issues are about politics, that is not where you want to come and regulate how politics must be conducted. That's not how to regulate how politics must be conducted. I think that the voice of the people of this country has been heard in very many loud ways. I've heard several civil actor players speak about this matter. I've heard major voices in this country speak. And I've weighed the opinions between those who think that the MPP is the minority and those who think the NDC is the majority. It is clear the majority of Ghanaians feel that the MPP has messed up. They are the minority. By the oppression of their own law, they have sacked their members. So Mamle Morrison is no more a member of the MPP. Isiama is no more a member of the MPP.
No, Isiama is back to the MPP.
I mean, the other two are no more members of the MPP by virtue of their own laws. And these laws do not contradict the laws of Ghana.
Right,
now, on the particular case of Parliament, Parliament has acted within the remit of the law, and those are out of Parliament. They are no more members of Parliament. Right. And the NDC constitutes a majority in Parliament.
Thank you very much. Benji?
Well, you see, let me borrow the words of our flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, that if you want majority of members in Parliament, you need to work for it, like he is doing. That he goes round and then constituency by constituency advocate for the potential, members of Parliament to work hard to be elected by the good people of this country. So I do not understand why the NDC really want to take advantage of these 49 days in power and destroy our beautiful democracy. I would also want to entreat the members of Parliament. Like I said earlier on.
Let me ask you, since the NPP wants so much peace, if the NDC decides not to back down, would the NPP back down for the sake of peace?
Well, I mean, there has been a ruling.
No.
There has been. That's what I'm
so
saying.
you won't back down because of the ruling.
But you see, if it hadn't gone to Supreme Court.
No, just a question.
Yes, exactly. We will go by. You see, we are using the rules.
It's quite interesting. And this
we are using the rules.
I say all the time because it's quite interesting that the NPP will preach that peace, but will not back down.
No.
And then the NDC will also say we are not backing down. So who should back down for?
So where do they stand? The Supreme Court did not rule in their favor. Okay? For the purposes of checks and balances, the Speaker Ed, Supreme Court has checked him. He needs to go back and do the right thing. And that's where the MPP will stand. Okay. Exactly.
Not for peace.
For peace. For peace.
All right.
For peace.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I have so many messages. I think I'll start from the top. Whoever is here is a lucky person. This one says, good morning. I think the MPP man is exhibiting his hypocrisy. They should stop. They should spare us a manti. What? A mantin kumbungu. Okay. I'm struggling to read it.
Muslim name, Martin.
Oh, okay, Martin. All right, Martin, thank you. Hi, madam. It's really good to establish rules as how to go on discussions with them for the viewers to enjoy watching and being educated from them, because it's our public interest and the elephant must go back to the bush and stop disturbing the peace of our dear nation and our democracy with this style of setting the Supreme Court with his own people to act on their behalf. They should be extra careful because most of us are really annoyed with the NPP government. Good morning, host. The only way to deal with Akufo-Addo and his officials is to sue them at ICC for crime against humanity, indeed, making laws to pollute water bodies against UN. So today we are not... But boss, I think sometimes you write it before you even join the show. Good morning. I think okay, I've already read this one. Blueprints from Cicado. It is important to note that unlike their other jurisdictions that practice parliamentary supremacy, as in the case of Westminster, Ghana practices constitutional supremacy as enshrined in Article 1(2). This Constitution shall be the supreme law Ghana, and any law found to be inconsistent with any provision of this Constitution shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Therefore, the NDC should adhere to the ruling of the Supreme Court to avoid unnecessary apprehension in Parliament tomorrow. Greetings to Honorable Charles. Okay. Hi, Rosalind. Please, I want to ask that if the seat is declared vacant, will there be by-election? Is that seat affected on the current parliament or the upcoming election? Please, why are these two parties causing problems always? We need a better Ghana, not majority and minority. Engineer Victor from Sinyani. Engineer Victor, there will not be any by-elections due to the period with which we are. It's too short. And elections are just around the corner, so there won't be any by-elections. Good morning, please. All judges ruled on the case appointed by this government. Take note, please. Cases delayed are minority e-levy, LGBTQ, Dafia Makbos ministerial appointment. SAL do not have representation for 4 years. Is Supreme Court aware of that issue? Good morning, beautiful. In fact, I want to thank Multimedia Group, most especially you, Rosalind, because the street lights have used your platform and with your help to advocate for from Kalba Station to Tuna Senior High Technical School in Tuna has been worked on, and the whole street is looking beautiful and brighter, just like you. Indeed, Multimedia Group gives results, and may your station remain on top of all others. And all thanks to my DC and the whole Solak Tuna Kalba District Assembly for listening to our cries. We are happy, Masaraman. Raman, I'm glad. Thank you so much, and I'm glad that we could help. Thank you. Good morning, Madam Hills. What is the MPP rep saying today? The election the Formina MP was seeking for in 2020, was it for Parliament or this one? The man was seeking for election to enter the next Parliament, which is existing now, yet you, the NPP, came and announced his seat vacant. Your party took the clause from the Constitution, and you are now running away from your president simply because this you are liking the numbers court have to now explain to Ghanaians. Thank you, Osman Baga from Daniel. Okay. I think my time. Let me see my time. Oh, my time is up. I wish I could read more, but unfortunately my time is up. So I want to say a very big thank you to all of you that sent in your messages to us today. I'm super grateful. A big thank you to you, Benjamin Jawapia, who represented the NPP this morning. Super grateful that you made time. And you, Philemon La Esquire, who represented the NDC this morning. 49 days to go cast your vote. Make sure your thumb is in place. Please don't lose it. Don't. Try as much as possible not to lose it, because it's everything for you today. It's everything for you on the 7th of December. When you cast your vote, go home peacefully. We are advocating for peace and not war. And whoever is declared as, the next government, we hope that everybody will support that person. And whoever doesn't win will call to congratulate whoever it is, because we are advocating for peace and not war.